So let's get started. I'm going to do two parts. One is I'm just going to go through some of the features on the website because I think they do a really good job of sort of outlining what the software does. And then I'll flip over into my version of it and I'll show you sort of real life examples of oh, hello, are you joining us, Mark? Shut the door because it seems loud. It's not usually loud in here, but it is today. And then I'll finish off with the pricing because there's a deal going on right now if you don't have it and you want to get it. So this website I thought is really kind of good because their features thing is very concise. If you have a team, it does work for teams. But their features I thought was very cool because they have the desktop version and then they have a mobile version. And the mobile version is excellent. It's an app, you just sort of press the little button and you'll see exactly what it does on your desktop on your phone. So if you look at the dashboard, and this is the dashboard, this CRM is more than your average CRM because it's based around the Buffini philosophy. Does everybody know what that is? No. Okay. So Brian Buffini was an agent for a long time, and then he started a coaching company that coaches, I think it's like 20,000 agents. He's got one of the largest real estate coaching companies next to KW. And his philosophy is that you grow your business through referrals. So everything that this database does is designed to help you build relationships. And his premise to sort of win the day and to build your business is that you make calls, you write personal notes, and you pop by and you visit people. So those three fundamental activities are the base of the database. And so everything that is on a goal setting tracking point of view is based on those three activities. So you'll see calls made, notes written, pop bys, new additions to the database, and then you can set your own goals beyond that if there's something that you want to do. So if you're on the computer, then this is what that looks like in real life. So there's mine. I haven't made any calls on this system that I have tracked, so I don't have any green lines there. But what happens is if you make a call, you'll start to see a green line come across there, so you get a really quick visual of whether you're being productive. And then the same holds true for the mobile version. You see these little circles as you've made your calls and your notes, and you'll start to see the circles fill in. And you can set all these numbers. The numbers are set based on the goals, the financial goals that you put into the system. And it'll calculate it all for you. Which, I'll go back to the desktop, brings us to, so then what it does is it helps focus you on who you're supposed to call, who you're supposed to write notes to, who you're supposed to pop by, and then keeps track of your buyers and sellers. In the real world, when you do that, you go into relationships, that's that same screen. This is how it calculates who you're going to be calling. So there's another part, because this is a referral-based database, they make you categorize your clients in different ways. You can set your own groups, like they're downsizers or they're, renters or whatever. But the core of the referral side of it makes you go in under relationships and sort your relationships to A's, B's, C's, and D's. So here's your definition of what they are over here. So people who have sent you multiple referrals are A+, because the idea behind that is you're supposed to spend the most amount of time coveting them because they've actually given you business. Then it goes out to people who have sent you a referral in the past year and are likely to do it again. Then those that if they were asked, they would probably send you a referral. And it goes down to D, I use D for dump. So when you load all your people in there, it's going to ask you to sort your relationships that way. So that's one definition of it. The other definition, when you're back on this first page, is that when it's going to tell you who to call, A-pluses are relationships that reappear on your list every 30 days. So if they're A+, it means you want to call them more often because they're your most important people. So they're going to show up on your calling list every 30 days. Bs are going to be 60 days, Cs are going to be 90 days. And so it will always take the 5 most important people for you to call. And that's how it focuses your business, so you don't have to think about that. It will automatically tell you those 5 people to call. You can also obviously set a reminder in a person. If you want to call them, it will also come up for you to call them. So if I take it back over here, so there's your dashboard. See, if you set your to-dos, it gives you a list of all the to-dos to do for the day, and you can sync it with your calendar, and then it tells you what you've recently done. So that's your dashboard, and then it'll break your database as a visual into A's, pluses, B's. And I have not actually gone through and done my database that way, so that's why you're not seeing anything there, because I use my database a little differently. I'm going to go back into this part again, because that's what we were talking about. So it helps prioritize what your activities are for the day. It helps you sort your relationships, as I showed you, so that you know who you're supposed to call. There is a marketing component as well on the database. Now, I was talking to Kat about this earlier. There's 2 types of referral maker contracts. There's just the referral maker, where you're just getting the database, and there's the referral maker pro. And the pro includes a bunch of other stuff, like every month they'll send you the paper newsletter, the note cards. You have a special members area for a lot of their teaching materials, and you can go to the success tours when he comes to Toronto, which is about a $300 value for free. So I have the Referral Maker Pro, so I know what the marketing looks like on mine. I'm not sure what it looks like on the base one. Did you find that out?
No, it's a question. When you say the paper newsletter, what is that? That is a...
I will show. Do you want me to get you a copy? You pay extra for branding. I get the branded one. I'll bring it in so you can see what they look like. Oh, no problem. Okay, so here, I'll pass these around. Here are 2 versions of the branded one. So my smiling little mug is at the bottom there with the contact information. And here's a version of a non-branded one.
And what do you do with these?
I send these to my past clients. Yeah, you get 100 of them. So and they give you a suggestion for the covering letter. I've actually gotten it to the point, or I'm just about to get it to the point where I'm splitting my database into email people and non-email people, because there's a digital version and there's the paper version. So in order to cut down costs, I'm going to send the paper version to they tend to be older people that don't use emails, and then I'm going to use the digital version. I'm copying it into a BombBomb template, and I'll put a video of me on top, but the theme is going to run in both paper and digital media.
Right. And they put your listing on here.
Yeah, you have to load that. You have to load that. So there's now the only challenge with that is that you have to load your listing almost like a month and a half back. And we sort of come to market and we sell it in a week. So it's probably better to use for solds than it is to use for new listings, because your timing's not going to work on it.
And then there's the e-report.
And then there's a whole section on the e-reports, which I'll get to in a minute. So we'll go and I'll explore through the marketing section with you on the website so you can see it. Then so what I primarily use this system for is the business side of it. So I only put my clients in here that are under contract. So none of my leads are in here. And so I use this as a pipeline to project income and to track deals as they close and to have all my numbers done for the end of the year. And then I put my goals, like my financial goals, in here at the beginning of the year. So, and I really like the business side of it. And then there's the calendars and to-dos. So if we actually go into the database, this is the dashboard, and I've sort of shown you around there. Under relationships, you could do several things. Here's your to-dos. And these are all the ones that you put in. Plus it'll put some of the automatic market ones in, the marketing ones where they know when their printed material is ready and when you have to go in and do that. So they populate the to-dos with the marketing stuff for you. And you can see due today, past dues, campaign to-dos. So there's prepare your monthly mailing, send the e-report, prepare your monthly mail. They just sort of run that through. Recent activities. So this will show you what you've just done. So referrals, new ads, calls, notes, and pop buys. So if you're going to be doing Ignite, and this is the same, pretty much the same stuff that we track, I'll probably start doing it in here just so that I don't have to track the numbers manually. Sort relationships, we went through that. So that's loading your database as a CSV file. It's relatively easy. Never done it. Tina does that for me. I'm not a techie person, but I gather it's relatively easy. You just put it in, and then you sort through it based on the way they say to do it. You can, it really goes quickly. The other thing that you can do is this qualified button is great for Castle, because that's basically anybody you know is qualified that you can send materials to. So that's your way of tracking who you've actually double checked with that you're okay to email to. So you can sort your relationships running through it that way. And then there's also what's called manage groups. Groups are, so it'll tell you how you sorted your A's plus B's and C's. And then you can create whatever groups you want as well. So these are all ones that I've put in there. So upsizing, downsizing, renters, how I had them categorized from another database when I brought them in. Here's where you import all the relationships. It shows you how to do the CSV file, and in you go. Now, this is also what I really liked about this software. You have a lot of leads, like when you go to an open house, that you don't want to spend a lot of time entering all this data in people that you don't know you're going to work with. So this is where you can pre-qualify all your new leads until you're ready to put them in a database. So it's a segregated list of people, and you just put them in, you write little notes, and that way you go in there, and these are the people you're going to call 5 times before you decide whether you dump them or what you're going to do with them. So you just throw their name in there and their telephone number. You can write some notes on them, and you can sort of start your day by going through these people. And then when you've decided they're good and you're going to keep them, you convert them and it enters it into the main database. So it's just because when you go to actually set up a person, I'll show you there's a lot of information to put in, and you're not going to want to spend time doing that on people that you don't know that you're working with. Setup wizard, that's how you just sort of set your basic stuff. And then if you want to take stuff out of the database, you can export it at the bottom. So that's how you manage relationships. And what makes this database different on that front is it's like a double layer. It's the A, B's, and C's plus all of the other categories that you may want to sort your clients into. Here's the marketing tab. Under marketing, you can have different campaigns. So if you were going to have like a business mixer, this is a sample of what's in here. There's a template. So what it would look like is, so first you're going to send the date card, then you're going to call to invite, then you're going to do an email invite, then you're going to call to confirm attendance. So this is how you would set up a plan, and you would put the dates in there, start date, due on date, and then it'll save it and you can apply it into your calendar and it'll all come up.
So this will go right into your Google Calendar?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, you can link this calendar with your Google Calendar. Let's go back over here. So these are some of the ones that they have, and then you would create your own campaigns down here. You can have like if you wanted to do like a contract to close campaign, like you want to call them so many times, you want to drop off the gift, you want to, you're going to do this so many days after the contract is signed, you're going to do that so many days. You start with the date of the closing and you work backwards.
Can you put your own like marketing materials in those campaigns?
I think so.
Like
Yeah.
PDFs?
Yeah.
Or,
there's a
or
part
whatever?
you'll see where you can put
You can
templates
just
in.
upload
Yeah, templates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So send emails. So it will allow you to send your emails from here. So here's where you would do your templates, and you can see. Send a printed letter. So you can do a letterhead there, create your own letterhead, save a draft, print the letter, and then you can also print labels too. So you would pick your group and it'll do a label for you, a page of labels. Past communications, so it tells you how many you've sent out. So these would have been all of my newsletters. So last month we sent it.
Last month was the credit
Yeah.
report thing, yeah.
So that was the PDF, so it keeps a record of, so this was the covering letter that we sent out, and we put it on top of the marketing material and we send it out. I think I'm closing that now. Okay, yeah. Marketing materials, so in here is where you see what the next newsletter is going to look like, and you would go in here to customize it. And okay, so these are the next marketing materials. This shows, you can also, if you're going to do digital stuff, you can go back into the archives and you can take some of the old ones out as well. Here are the e-reports. So here's the digital version of what they've got in the printed version. The difference between the two is the printed version is a two-sided sheet, the digital version is condensed into one page. But it's the same theme.
Same material.
Yeah. Personalize your marketing flyers. So this is where you would go in and do that. So you would add in, I'm not going to log in here, but that's where I want to be. So that's where you would do that. Oh, okay, so reports and presentations, I think this is what you were alluding to, because this is, I like this section a lot. If you want to send extra stuff to your clients, like a market analysis, I think it's every 6 months, they look at Canadian real estate overall and they give you sort of talking points to it, and they're actually quite well done. So this is the Canadian version. See, it says Canadian edition. And it talks about industry facts, projected housing starts, mortgage stats, pricing information, but it's nicely presented. So you can send it digitally, or you can send it to Staples and have them printed on glossy paper if you wanted to. And then you'd put it in with your own covering letter. Okay. So remember I said at the beginning, they work on 3 premises, that you've got calls, notes, and pop-bys. They do a whole list of pop-by tags here, and so they make it really easy for you just to print them off and go out and buy whatever you want to buy and put it all together. So they have some really fun ideas in here. You can pull it by season, you can pull it by gift ideas, there's tons of them in here. And so you can just do a whole bunch of them and keep them in your car. I try to pick things that aren't too seasonal so that So on May 24th, if you want to give someone fireworks, you could use this one. So there's all sorts of creative ideas in here on how to do the Popeyes. Okay, here's your unsubscribe report. So if you're doing emails, as for Castle, we have to have all the unsubscribes. They would all go in here. There is that functionality. And I don't think I've ever been in this one. Oh, this must be stuff that, oh, this is just, yeah, don't worry about that. So that's the marketing side of things. Here's the My Business side. So this is great because this is where you're going to find your pipeline. So under transactions, you've got potential, active, pending, closed, and not converted. The way that this is created is how you set people up. So I should actually go back and I'll do one for you. So let's pick, okay, I'll just pick him. So there's the transaction. You have to go in, you have to say, okay, this is their address, and then you just fill in the bottom part that says projected closing price, projected closing date, and then you can put in your targeted commissions, whatever percent you think you're going to be at, and it tracks it all. So the way I use potential, so the only people that go in here is, I did lie a little bit. So if I sort of have three categories in my pipeline. There's new leads, which I need to qualify. Then there's a category I call appointment, and these are people that I'm trying to get an appointment with within the next 3 months. Then I have another category called potential, and potential is anybody I think that's going to sell next season. So I don't think I can close them this season, but I'm not putting them in nurturing because they're not long-term. And then there's incubating or nurturing, which is 1 year plus for me. And so anybody that goes in, and the reason I picked the category called potential is because in this database they call it potential. So that way, when I set up the groups in my Mojo to follow my pipeline through, it matches here. So anybody who's in potential is anything I'm going to do this season and next season. So at the end of July or at the end of December, whatever's left in potential is who I think I'm selling next season. So that's who I get on the phone with, that's who I confirm, so that, and then you check that against the budget numbers that you put in here, and you know whether you're gonna make your season or not. Does that make sense? So on the business side, your business dashboard gives you lots of information. Now, Tina updates this for me, and I'm looking at this and it's not updated, but she's been on holidays for a while, so. It gives you very interesting statistics if you use it properly. So contacts to referrals, referrals to close ratios, and that's if you're using all the calling information and you're tracking those goals and you're setting them properly, and you would set them in here in this section. This part also has a really interesting set of reports that you can access from here. So here's where you get all the birthday reports. So by month, you can pull up all your clients' birthdays there. And then same for anniversaries. Those are at the bottom. And then here's your lead source. So at the end of the year, when you're trying to analyze where your business comes from, if you've entered it in that person where you got it from, all of this will summarize for you on your transactions, which is always a good place to start when you're planning next year in terms of where you want to focus your marketing dollars. The other thing that this shows you down here, here's your closed transaction report by month. And actually, Tina's gone back and added all of the years in here for me. So I've got my history in here from when I started, because I kept it on a different spreadsheet. So over time, it becomes helpful. And then it also shows you your top referrers. So this is a little quirky, I found, in terms of how it categorizes people. Only because, like, when I look at her, I've only done I have one potential transaction in here for her, and it's counting as 2. I have 1 sale, and then she referred me somebody else, which I haven't done a transaction with. They're a business-to-business person, so then, and it's counting that as total referrals. So it's a little, that one's a little quirky, but you know, you'll see of the refers how many of those deals are in potential, how many are active, and how many actually closed. So you want to look at your closed transactions from people, and that's where you would. So you might have a goal that from past clients, and repeat and referral business, I want to get 10 transactions. Well, at the end of the year, you'll know when you go into this report if you got them. Plus, you'll see it on the source report. And then the other thing is, if you're going to be in Ignite, here is the summary of all your lead gen activities by week. So it'll tell you your actual goal, your goal, how much of your goal you achieved, and your notes, your calls, your pop buys, and your referrals received. So if you use it, not only do you see the circles for the week, but here's your cumulative report, and you can look at it by week or by month. And usually tracking that's such a pain in the ass that makes this much, much easier. Okay, so
The dashboard's nice, like it's very visual.
it is.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Compared to some other ones, it's sort of.
It's
I'm very
uncluttered.
visual.
Yeah, I am too.
And when I
Exactly.
can see anything that gets me motivated.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I agree with you 100%.
that's the one I like about this one is that, and I like that birthday report, and I like the.
The anniversaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first anniversary is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just pull that out, say on the 20th of the month before.
Exactly.
And then fire out
Do all the-
birthday card.
And you've got to be, when you start with a database, and speaking to the person who has changed databases like every year for the last 3 years, it's,
You have kind of.
if you're starting from scratch, just start putting in the people that you're talking to right now. And then, maybe you pick one afternoon a week and you go back and you enter your past clients from last year.
Right.
And then you pick another day and you enter your past clients from you. Like, you don't have to get it all up and running to be using it. And the easiest thing to do is just start by entering the names of the people that you're calling. And then, by November or December, start with, next year's budget and work through it in here, and then it'll be set up. Don't kill yourself to go back and set it up for this year, because, you could do 6 months if you know what you want to do from September to December. You can put 6 months in here for now. Because here is, this is all your transaction history as I showed you. That's your pipeline, basically. And it's kind of very similar to the one that Chris created, which is why I sort of started using this instead of that, because I could keep the notes for people. They also have it on the side, the activities report, so you can access it in 2 places. Because when you go into transactions, you get a whole new set of activities to look at. So you'll notice that sometimes your choice is on the side here. Just because you're in business, it doesn't stay as the same one when you go into a different page. You've got different options. So over here, when you're looking at business goals, this is where you put in your annual business goals. It's pretty easy. And then it translates it for you as to how many calls you'd have to make, how many notes, how many pop buys, based on the top number that you want to achieve. So it calculates it down at the bottom. You have to work with that a little bit. And it's the same as if you go to work with Andy on your gross commission. It's everybody looks at the same equation and calculates it from a different angle slightly differently. So you just have to get accustomed to what it is. Here is where you customize your goals. Remember, there's notes, pop buys, calls, those are standard. But you can add in your own thing. So I said I wanted to work out 5 days a week, or I wanted to do 1 business lunch a week. I wanted to 1 offer a week, or 2 appointments a week, 3 showings, like that type of stuff. You can customize that, any which way you want, and it'll bring it over to the front for you. I like Buffini because it's a little more holistic too. So he works on a principle of your 5 circle goals. So not only do you plan your business, but you look at the spiritual side of your life, your family, your business, your financial, and your personal. So this allows you just to write your own goals here and keep track of them if you want to. And this one, current count. I think this is tied to this. I haven't used this yet, so. Okay, property match. This is a good one too. So you can use this when you add a client in, and there's 2 sections. I'm going to show you this. Can't pick a person. I'll just have to pick a person here. Who am I going to pick? I don't know if I'm in here. There, okay, I have me as a test person in here. So you go in and you enter the information, the contact information. This is where you keep general notes. You'll see what is scheduled for them in terms of action plans and stuff. Any recent contact, your notes will come up there. Then there's a whole section on families. So this is where you'd put in that sort of information, children, blah, 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 pets, like everything you need to know about them. Business or career, any associations that they're in, occupation, that type of stuff. So it's to help you build rapport and you know, anything that you may have in common with them. Interests, okay, so that's that part of it. And then the way it does it is you can add a spouse to it. It links 2 people together, but they're separate. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let me just see if I can put, I'm just trying to find a linked one for you. Here, so Deb and George Lloyd. So you see there's Deb, and then switch to spouse, and then you'll see George, and you can keep all that personal information about each of them, but they're linked together, so it'll show you. And then under here, so you'll see that the sidebar when you're in this mode is different. Connections is where you build your referral tree, so you know who's connected to who. And then property preferences. So this is where you will put in what it is they're looking for. And so on that report where it says what listings you have and what people are looking for, this is where the match would occur. You have to put in what it is that they're looking for, features, wants, that type of stuff. I thought about using this as part of my buyer and seller consultation, and just using this as the template, so when I talk to them, then I have the exact information that I want to put back in here, but I haven't quite decided if I'm doing that yet. History, so this will show you everything that you have sent them. This shows you what groups you have them in. And then transactions, so here's their transaction history. And if you add a new transaction here, this is how you get to the point where, okay, they want to buy something, here's what they want to buy, and this is when you put the stuff in at the bottom here, transaction details, this is how you get it onto your potential pipeline part. It's kind of intuitive. It's like all under the person, and that's where you put it, and then you'll see it show up later. Okay, does that make sense? So you can get to that from the person, and you can also get to it from the business section too, depending on how you want to do it. So I'm back in business, because that's where we were. And that's how the property match works. If you were putting all that information in there, I haven't been doing it properly, so mine's not showing. It also allows you to keep track of your expenses by month if you want. You can set all those expenses. So if you wanted to pull your stuff off, you don't want to use QuickBooks at the end of the year, this is an easy peasy way of doing it. I use QuickBooks and stuff, so I'm not using this component of it, but. Okay. This is if you're on a team, and I haven't put Jamie on here yet, so I haven't got the team version, but it would roll up everybody's budget numbers and everybody's activities, and you see a total team as well as the individuals. This is I haven't activated this yet because it's a relatively new button. This is the referral network.
Business referral.
Yeah, business referral network. Nothing happens when I go into it, so I haven't actually followed up with them. I don't know how that works, but
I'm assuming it's business to business referrals networks.
I thought it was not only that, but I thought it was also like if someone has somebody coming from California up to Toronto, you register your profile and everything on here, and it tracks that type of stuff. It's because they've got the button showed up, and I'm like, I don't have anything under here, and I haven't had time to look into it yet. But that's another thing. And then this is just your calendar, so that'll show you what to do if you wanted to come on here in the morning and look at that. You can sync your calendar with your phone. I don't think when we started it, Google was working quite right yet, but I think it is now, and I just haven't gone back and updated it. So that's basically it in a nutshell. And if you look at the digital version on your phone, it does this. It gives you the same drop down. So your goals, your contacts. The cool thing is on the pop-bys, it'll give you a map. So if you had a pop-by schedule, it's all on your phone, and it'll tell you.
Keep them all in the same area.
Yeah. You can schedule it that way. Then it just does your to-dos. I quite liked the to-dos on the phone. They were really easy to read. And there's your calendar. Sync calendar.
You click like the done, so you call Jen to arrange drinks. If
Yeah.
it's done, does it disappear?
So I'll go in there because that was from February, and obviously so if I then, I did do that and I just didn't answer it. So convert to appointment, delete. Where do I
complete?
Yeah. Oh, I guess convert it. Why is that? Attendees.
Don't you click it on the main page?
No, it was over. It's over on the main. Oh, here. I just took it here. Yeah, there. So now it's gone. But if I go back to the main dashboard, oh, it wasn't a call. So it depends on how you set it up. So yeah, it's coming back to me now. Hold on. Let me just pick me again. Okay, so there's two places to put notes. There's this contact history, and then there's when you do it down here. So how does this work again? You have to set it up here as, let's say I wanted to send myself a personal note. So I would personal note, and I would say personal note test. And that's today, right? Okay, so I'll save that. And then it shows, here, shows up down here, so recent contact. And then if I click, there is an easier way to do this, and I can't
So it's
remember
not a
what it is.
personal note, that's a personal note going to your client, and it's coming from your email address that you use, your business email address.
No, personal note is a handwritten note. Usually, it's usually when they refer to personal note, it's a handwritten note. So if that, just check something here. Let me just make that. So let's see something. Save. That's today. So I'm going to go back to things I have to do today.
see all of a sudden she's got one personal note written up
Yeah.
there.
Because why didn't it show up on, and maybe it didn't show up on my to-do list because I'm doing something for today.
Well, no, because you typed in that you did it.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So that would be, so if I want to do something in the future. Scheduled contact, okay, so I need to. So I want to call. Oh, there's also, if you wanted to count on your dashboard, you always have to leave it ticked that you asked for a referral, because if you don't ask for a referral, then it won't count it in your
They
goals.
won't count.
Okay, so ongoing calls, test call. I'm gonna make it for tomorrow. I'm gonna save it. And then if I go back over to my dashboard, show all of today's to-dos. These are all the past ones. I'm not sure how it's sorting this. I haven't kept on top of it. When I was doing it, it wasn't difficult, but I haven't looked at it. Right now I've got a call that I made. Even though I haven't made it. So you would just type it in after the fact, I think. And as a reminder, though, yeah, that's true. It might come in there.
Use the add a calendar.
Okay, so week, today, all. If I go, I said for tomorrow, so it should,
There was a 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so maybe you just scroll down a little bit.
that's true. Back to that. I think those are appointments, they're different than calls. Oops, that's not what I want. I wanted to see tomorrow, because I'm sure you can. Recent activity. This pulls automatic. So I know that there's some, because I can remember. Go back to me. I haven't done this for a while. Stuff that comes up here. Oh, right. Okay. So here it is. But the way I wrote it, if I edit this, here's a way to edit it. Hold on. Go down below. Where did I write that? Where did it go? It shows as a call, but the way I filled it in, I remember now there was a weird way to do this.
Edit on this
Oh. No, I think that's just edit my profile stuff. There's, oh, hold on. Contact. No schedule, okay. Where's the note? It did disappear, and I don't know why it just.
Showed it as complete.
Usually you have to,
There, add to do. It's not like you.
yeah, if you add the to-do here versus here. Here is how you track your activity that you've done. That was the difference. Okay, when you've done something and you want it to show, you put it in here. When you're setting a to-do, you put it in here. And the difference, so let me just, yeah, the difference between the notes and the name of it. So test call, and then I write down here because it does two different things. Okay, so just for fun. So I've written two different things. I've written notes down there, and I've written what it is I'm going to do. When you save that,
You wanna change the date to tomorrow?
I'm going to,
Gotta set it today.
well, I don't think it really matters, but let's just set it for tomorrow. Okay. Oops. Okay, so test call is what will come up in what you write there, but for it to, there's a way to get it to come up here. See how this says, can I get in there? There's a way to get the note to come up here as well, not just the symbol of what it is.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I was trying to do, because I figured it out before, and now I can't remember what it is. So this is the one I just set, and I need to go in and edit that. I know it will come to me. Yeah, it'll come back to me.
That's the one that you scheduled for tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is it, but there's a way. It's not the notes. Let's see if it's that one. Nope. I'm trying to figure out. See past for a minute.
Why don't you click on look after,
Oh, that must have been.
and it will tell you where you typed it. Click there.
Damn it.
So you had some-
Oh, it was in the notes section. Oh, okay, this is the difference. This is, I set it up as an other activity. That's the difference. So this has a notes section that isn't on the other ones. So your activity type, other, if you don't hit that, you don't get the note that comes up. So I will show you. Now I remember what it was. Okay. So when you go in here and you go to add a to-do,
Yeah.
and where is it? Never. No, this isn't it. This is not it. Here's in the right place. Hold on. That's added to do. Was it add an appointment? That's okay. No, this is the same. Nope, that's not it. Where was I? See, it's this one. Track other. Subject, call, home. Test note. Okay, so save. All right, so there, see how it came up there? Now you can see where it says test note. So there's different types of activities that you can do with the different icons. This is the other one where it says track other, is the only place that you can write yourself any more detail than just what it was you were going to be doing and when. Okay? Which can be helpful sometimes, but it's, and then it'll show up, so it shows up down below. Test calls. So now it actually, I think the system just took a while to catch up, because now we're seeing all the stuff that I typed in that wasn't showing there before, because remember it was red for a while. So if you use this type, which is your other, you can put more information in, and it shows up back up here, and it shows up down here. So that when you first come into the person, you can see a quick, short contact history. And then you go in here when you want to put in the stuff that you've done and show it on your goals on the front.
Right.
Does that make sense?
On your dashboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys use this, don't
Hmm?
you? You guys use this, don't you?
Yeah.
Jeremy?
Yeah. And we've got a team version, so
Yeah, no problem.
Presence here, but
Yeah.
it gives me at least a good visual of what's
So-
everything is.
It's a great system, it really is. It takes a while to get used to, like.
Anyone will,
everyone-
and this
they
one
all
I,
do. They all do,
yeah.
right.
and this one I have found really quite easy to get used to.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think the key to it is, you just work your way across the top,
yeah,
and then each one of them will have a different sidebar.
Yeah.
And you just work your way down through that, and it'll help get it all set up and how to manage it. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
and it's easy to find people, and it's easy to just
Yeah.
throw notes in there.
It's
and-
the clearest looking one that
Yeah,
I've seen.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
top producers.
Oh,
will.
it's
Oh, top
hideous.
producer's a nightmare.
It's hideous.
It's a nightmare.
So hard to navigate. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I think we migrated to there, I think, and used it twice, and I was just like,
So you went through which ones? Did you do iExactly?
no. Mm-mm. I did Real Web Solutions when they had their database, when they first came out. Then I did by referral only. They didn't have a team version. Then I did Top Producer. Then I did this. I think that's it.
Did you ever try E-Edge?
Oh, and I did do E-Edge, yes. When I first came over, I did E-Edge
Yeah.
for a very short amount of time. So yeah, so make that about 5, yeah. Yeah, E-Edge drove me crazy because of the way it handled couples, and it didn't handle, it was, yeah. It needs a lot of work. So, any other questions?
Well, thank you. That
You're
was
welcome.
helpful. That was very
If you
helpful.
want any information on the pricing for it, if you're thinking about it, go back to that website, the referralmaker.com website, and there's a special on right now
Okay.
where you can pre-register for it because it's like a one-day sale next Tuesday, but they said it's hard to get through sometimes on that day, so you can call and pre-register, and you basically save 60% for the first year. And what's great with these guys is, even though it's an American company, they charge us a par, so they don't add the 30% for Canadian dollars.
Oh, okay.
So it's about, if you do, it's $240 for the year
Okay.
if you pre-register to get their one-day sale. Otherwise, it's about $49 a month,
Okay.
okay? And that's just for the basic one. That's not for the Referral Maker Pro.
The pro.
Yeah. The Pro has, if I go into here, the members area. I have to log
You
in.
just went past our system pro.
Hmm? Where?
If you go to our system, talks about.
Oh, yeah.
Or membership.
Uh,
Membership.
yeah,
I
yeah,
did see.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Referral Maker Pro
Where
there.
did I put my thing? Oh, here. Blog testimonials, features, teams, how it works. Oh, if you go into this is the part for teams,
Pricing.
testimonials. Yeah, pricing.
Just go up a little bit there.
Yeah,
Pricing.
right there. Come on. So that's the basic part. That's just the basic one. That's not the. They don't have. If you go on to, hold on. This is their main website. And it talks about, this was how, these are the different success tours, masterminds. Oh, here, so here's Referral Maker Pro. So here's the CRM and here's the Pro.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what the I know what the Referral Maker Network does. I haven't read this part yet. Here we go. This was that little button at the top. So send and receive referrals to top-notch real estate agents who are also part of the Buffini and Company community, designed to help tap into peer-to-peer pillar business. This powerful network generates hundreds of referrals. Learn how you can.
Oh, okay, so you that's tied into other Buffini
Yeah, there's other agents at other brokerages all around. So essentially you get more resources, you get access to some of their live events, and there are other resources on there like training and coaching resources that you get access to as well with the Pro. I can't remember, I know I'm on the Pro and I think that it had something to do with the marketing materials I was getting too were included, which is why I went that way, so. But that one's $129 a month as opposed to $49 a month. But if you call them, if you go on the websites, their phone number is everywhere and they're great to talk to, so they're really easy to talk to. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome.